You're watching SKST Radio.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio. And guess what? It's our season finale. And guess what? I have Eric Nolan here wrapping up the season. And I am so excited. Eric, welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. Did I trip you out just a few minutes ago?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
So guys, I know this man needs no introduction. Eric Nolan from the OJs. This man is moving and shaking, and he has not slowed down. Eric, tell people who you are and what you do.
Well, first and foremost, I am the third member of the OJs, the guy in the middle. As of now, I've been with the OJs 28 years. Next March will be 29 years. I've been with the guys since 1995. And currently, I'm still doing some solo stuff. I got a couple of solo projects coming out. I got new music coming out. I just released some music with Walter Williams, Sr. of the OJs. And I got my next project coming out Valentine's Day with Glenn Jones. I have my own radio show. Tens, the Eric Nolan Show on WOVU 95.9 FM. It's a terrestrial radio station. So I'm on 3 days a week, Sunday nights at 8 and Monday and Tuesdays at 3.
Nice.
And I started about a year and a half ago, I started a film company with a friend of mine named James Ford.
Okay.
And we put together a film company called J Films, which is spelled JAE, which stands for James and Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And we put out our first movie September the 14th on Tubi, What Happens in the Dark.
Nice.
So I'm trying a little bit of everything. I'm going to see what sticks.
I'm like, what don't you have your toes in?
I'm just trying to see what sticks. Eddie Levert always told me, you throw enough stuff up against the wall, something will stick.
I heard that before recently, actually. I heard that not too long ago. So, you know what? Let me ask you this, though. So let's take it back. Before you were with the OJs,
Mm-hmm.
what was Eric like then?
I was still trying to make it in the music business. I've been trying to make it in the business since, well, I started singing when I was 4. So when I found out that you can get money for it, around 1920, I started really being real serious about it. I just always been, my mother she wasn't that fond of it. She wanted me to go to college. She wanted me to have a backup plan. She wanted me to, have something else to fall back on. But I was 130% engulfed in music. I just ate, slept, and drank music.
Wow. So so the church thing, were you in the choir or nothing like that?
No, I can't even. I can't even give you a Hollywood story. I wasn't brought up in the church. I wasn't. Actually, later on, I did get baptized. I joined the church, and I joined the church choir. And at that time, I think I was singing with Dennis Edwards. I was singing background with Dennis Edwards of the Temptations. But I joined the choir because I wanted that kind of background, the church background.
Mm-hmm.
But the conductor, he would never let me lead a song. I probably went to about eight rehearsals or practices and everything. He never gave me a song. I was like, bump this. I'm out of here. You won't let me sing? And you gonna let that person sing? Really? I'm out of here. So I never went back. So I don't have that. I don't have that story to tell you that. I was raised in the church, and my mother and father, and there was a deacon and there was a pastor. And I don't have that story. That's not me.
Original. There you go.
Yeah. Let's keep it all real. I don't have that story.
So when did you realize that you could really sing? When did you realize you had that performance bug?
I don't think that I ever really thought that I was a singer. I thought I could sing. I thought I could carry a note. I knew how to finesse a song. I knew how to address a song.
Hmm.
And as far as recording, I knew that I could record a song.
Okay.
But I'm not a what they call an acrobatic singer. Like I don't do a whole lot of runs and I'm not very colorful. I sing a lot of melodies. So
Okay.
I stay in my lane. You know what I mean? So once I found out who I was, I just stick to that. I stick to the melodies. I can do some little curly cues and some little pretty stuff, but when I started singing at 4, it was just for the love of it.
Wow.
Because I saw James Brown doing it. And then once I saw James Brown doing it, then I saw Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5. And I'm thinking, wow, we're around the same age. I can do that. That's how I thought anyway. And I can do that. And I just started singing in all the talent shows. And then when I found out that you can get girls, oh, it was
Oh
a wrap.
Lord. First it was money, then
Game over.
girls.
No. First, no. Cammy, listen. First it was girls.
Oh,
Then it was money.
gotcha.
Then when I found out you can get paid for it, but it was about those girls because I wasn't like my 7th grade year, I was an unknown. I did the talent show in the 8th grade year. I was the most popular guy in the school.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? So I watched these two guys. They were twins, and they weren't they weren't popular, and they weren't very attractive. I'll say in the 7th grade,
Hmm.
and they did the talent show, and they became superstars overnight. And I said, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get in the talent show,
Wow.
and I put together a group called the Deltones, and we was the #1 group in Cleveland.
Wow. So you've been doing it for a minute then, if that's the
Yes,
case. That is
yes.
funny. So we're gonna take a little quick sponsor break, and then we'll be right back after these messages.
Mhm.
Get worldwide airplay, boost online streaming and sales. Get noticed by major labels like BMG, Sony Music, and Empire. Your videos aired on TV in millions of homes. See what Never Stop Entertainment can do for you. Visit us now at neverstopent.com.
Welcome back. If you just tuned in, you haven't tuned in too late. You tuned in to the Cammie Grayson Show and I have a new friend. He goes by the name of Eric Nolan. Eric, I am enjoying this so far. This is so cool. Okay, so now we are discussing what gave Eric the bug. How did he find out that he was a talented singer and performer? And so that's where we left our story off at. So now we're 7th grade. We got all this going on. We getting girls now. So go ahead and continue your story.
So then um, I started getting very serious about it once I got a band because my first talent show I sung off a record, and then I wanted to be really, really, really good. So I went and got a band, and I put together like a little 6-piece band in school, and we started. And then they used to have summer jobs, summer neighborhood youth programs,
Mhm.
and so so for our summer job, we used to go around to different schools, different junior high schools, and perform. That was our job for the summer. So we had like a little tour going on in Cleveland. So the Deltones started getting known in the city because we was getting mobbed. Our clothes was getting ripped off of us and everything. And
Wow.
yeah, man, it was crazy, man. They rushed that bus, and they'd almost like turn the bus over. It was pandemonium. And then once I got out of school, it's like I was telling you earlier, my mother wanted me to go to college, but I went to music settlement. I went to music settlement college for 13 months. And then I got a job with Dennis Edwards from the Temptations when he went solo.
Okay.
And my group, at the time, it was 3 of us, and we were his background singers. And I understood what my guys felt because we did that with Dennis for 2 years. I was with Dennis before, But we did that with Dennis for 2 years, and they felt like, hey man, I mean, enough is enough. We're trying to make it as, being out front and all this. We're not nobody's background singer. So I understood that. But what they didn't understand from me, and I didn't try to make them understand, but what they didn't understand from me is that little money we was making was nowhere near as much as the knowledge and the teachings I was getting from Dennis.
Yeah.
I was getting hands-on knowledge from, like, I would sit up in the front of the bus with him, and we talked for hours and hours, and he was just giving me so many gems and stuff I couldn't find in a book.
Right.
And so I stayed with him. I stayed with him for extra 2 years, and then I didn't feel like I could make it in Cleveland. I went to Detroit.
Okay.
And I lived there for 4 years trying to make it there. My manager had a singing group called UNV, who had a #1 record called Something's Going On. And they had signed with Madonna's label. So now this guy that was managing me, that was managing them, so happened to be my best friend, who used to play bass guitar for me in those talent shows.
Oh, wow. Small
So,
world.
but he's a big time DJ in Detroit, John Mason. And he was trying to get me a record deal. And we got a record deal with Don Barton from Barton Cable. And I don't think he knew enough about the business to get records played. You know what I mean? And for some kind of way, Cammy, Gerald Levert found me. Now I'm gonna take 2 steps back. Okay. Gerald and I, when our group became #1 in Cleveland, Gerald was putting together a group because Gerald was a solo artist back then in high school, but he always wanted a singing group like his father.
Mm-hmm.
So he got his brother Sean, who was playing drums for him at the time. He put him up front. Mark Gordon, who was playing piano for him, he put him up front, and they formed the trio Levert.
Okay.
So Gerald and I was very, 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 very close. Like I used to spend the night over their house all the time, basically so I could get something to eat.
At least he's honest.
Basically so I could get something to eat, because we was poor. And Gerald and Mama Levert, she would cook a full course meal every night.
Oh,
every night.
No wonder those guys are so healthy. That's
what I'm trying to tell you. So, and then they used to have cereal with real milk. See, we didn't have real milk. We had to mix ours with cream or powdered milk. You know what I'm saying? They had real milk. So I used to go over there and eat their food. But Gerald and I formed a bond, and we made this promise to each other: whichever one of us make it first, we'll pull the other one in.
Wow.
Now, at that time, we started becoming so popular that Gamblin' Huff started looking at us, and we actually went to Philly and cut some songs with Bunny Sigler. So Gerald thought we was about to make it. So Gerald made this pact with me. It just so happened that didn't pan out, because they was going to shelve us. They was going to put us on the shelf because they still had the OJs.
Mm-hmm.
And Gerald and them got the contract, and they started making waves. And Gerald never forgot. He never forgot his word. And when there was an opening in the OJs, Gerald told his dad about me. And Gerald found me in Detroit, and I came back to Cleveland to audition.
Wow.
And look, and what's so funny is when I came back to Cleveland, I came back in the middle of the night, because one, the snatch man was looking for my car. So the snatch man is looking for my car. So I travel regularly, but we're over like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, right? And I would park it. I would always park like way down the street somewhere, behind a truck or whatever. Wherever I can like disguise it. So I came back to Cleveland in the middle of the night. Gerald was at the studio, and I remember telling Gerald, I don't have a place to live. I don't have no place to go. And he gave me $300, and he said, go get a room for the night and be back here tomorrow. I want you to sing background on the Father and Son album, and I'll pay you for it. So he gave me these $300, and I'm like, where do you want me to get a room for $300? I'm not buying nobody. I ain't going to get no room for one night for $300. I went to the Cross Country Inn,
Okay.
1995 a night. At that time, they had HBO and Showtime.
All right.
I was balling. I was balling. I went and got me a room. We got me a room for 2 weeks. Man, I'm telling you, I had a hot shower, had a color TV, a little refrigerator, and a little microwave.
That was
Oh
living.
man, I'm
Shoot.
trying to tell you. Got me some Snyder barbecue potato chips and some bologna, bruh. You don't understand. I
Oh my
was
goodness.
cool. I stayed there for 2 weeks on that $300, and I came back and I did the Father and Son album, the background vocals for that. Gerald gave me $3,200, and I went and got an apartment. I went and got this girl who liked me. She co-signed for the apartment, and I was in like a high-rise apartment, and I stayed there for like 8 years, 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a true story too.
Believe it. Yeah, absolutely. So, it's amazing though. You think about how you got started, what your goals were back in those days, and now look at you. I mean, so how does it feel to be in the dream? You this is what you dreamed of being and who you plan on being. I mean, it might not be 100%, but you pretty much did what you set out to do.
Um, Cammy, okay, to be more transparent, let me tell you this. I haven't really, I don't think I have really sat down in it just yet. I probably would get more satisfaction when it's over for some reason because I haven't had a chance to like sit down and bask in it because I know my first 15 years we were traveling, we was touring so much, and we was just gone 6 7 months out of the year. We just go. So I
Mhm.
never got a really chance to like really, you know, just like, oh yeah, man, I'm one of them. And then later on, I think I think what happened was I wanted so much for Ed and Walt because like when we got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that was one of the times that I felt and I was ecstatic for Eddie and Walter because they have been trying to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for so many years.
Mhm.
Me personally, I didn't. I felt like I came in on the coattail.
Yeah, okay, I
You know
get
what I'm saying? So I didn't really grasp it like that. You're like, oh, I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I never grasped it like that because I didn't put that body of work in early that they did. The reason why they're inducted.
yeah.
So I felt like my induction was by default, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it
You know what
totally
I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely.
So I basically was the person that kept it rolling. Yes.
Mhm.
I got a chance to do 4 albums with them. Yes. But the body of work that they put in, getting all the million sellers and all that kind of stuff, the platinum albums and stuff, I had no parts of that.
Yeah.
So I was more happy for them and hoping something great like that happened for them. So I still didn't get a chance to really just sit down in it.
Yeah.
So when you ask that question, I don't even know sometimes I don't even because Eddie always tell me why do I always talk about OJ's in third person, and I think it's because I wasn't there.
From the beginning.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't there to really struggle with them. When I came in, you already had hits. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I had to do was try to keep my job, do my rehearsals and do everything I'm supposed to do to keep my job to keep the group at a level that they're used to being at.
Right.
And
Right.
that's the biggest hurdle for me. But other than that, I, 28 years, like Eddie says,
That's a long
you
time.
are, you
You
are,
are.
you
Yeah.
are an OJ. So I always fear the part of when it's over. I probably just realized, man, I was one of them. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm just happy for those two guys.
Well, that's so humble. But you are a part of the team, and but keep going, never stop.
Oh no, I'm doing that. I'm not going to stop. But I tell you what. I don't know if this would be surprising to you, but what I don't want to do, like we're doing our last stop on the Love Train tour, so we're gonna try to hit all the cities before Eddie and Walt retire, and they'll probably retire around 25 or something like that. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to replace those two with two other people just to keep it going. And my reason being is that, first of all, those two guys are practically untouchable. The second thing is those two guys have such a wealth of not only knowledge but history behind them. When they came up, they had to drink out of color only fountains.
Wow.
They had to use the outhouses. Like when they would perform and they would get their meals, they used to get their meals handed to them out the back door.
Unbelievable.
When they performed, they only could come through the back door. Like they take all of that of what they went through as children, as kids, 5, 6, 7 years old, and the racism. They put all of that into song, into music, and they bring it on, put it on stage. And you just can't find that. You can't get, you know what I'm saying? You can't, they can sing it. They can sing the songs, but I'm used to the heartfelt performances that they give that I know is coming from their toes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where somebody else hear them sing and say, "Oh yeah, I can sing that song." You might can sing it, but you can't feel it the way Eddie and Walt feels those songs.
Right.
And I'm a witness to this. Like every night, I see this every night. The camaraderie we have in the backstage area or in the dressing room is unprecedented. It's a whole nother thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the replacement thing, if you just want to go get the money, then you place two people and you go out there and you go get the money. And hence why I started something else. Hence why I started doing radio. Hence why I started a film company, because I want to be able to still take care of my family, but let that go. Because by the time they get rid of it, by the time they stop, I should be 30 years in. That's not a bad length of time to be doing that at that level. I came in on that level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I came in being a headliner. So 30 years, my biggest crowd to date is 200,000 people in Amsterdam, 87,000 at the Essence Festival. I've done from 1,500 to 200,000.
Yeah.
So majority of my dreams are fulfilled.
Yeah, it's amazing to be able to come in at that level, right?
Right.
Who does that? A lot of people don't get that opportunity, and you got that opportunity.
You're right, and I'm forever grateful for not only being trusted with that position, because there's only 3 of us out there. It's Eddie, it's Walter, and the other guy better be on point. You know what I mean? And that's me.
The other guy, huh?
So you know what I'm saying? So they trust me with that position. They trust me to hold it down. They have taught me so much. They have been able to believe in me. So if Eddie get off step, he can look at me and he can get back on step. Same with Walter. If they get off step or don't know where they at on stage or whatever, I'm the measuring stick.
Yeah.
So they feed off of me. And now of late, they've started forgetting lyrics, and so I'll be telling them the lyrics. Some of the songs they'll see my mouth and they'll look at me and they see my mouth going and they kind of they're like, "Oh, okay, that's my soul singing."
Yeah.
But I've had the journey of a lifetime. I couldn't have scripted this. I didn't get in the business to be an OJ. Right. I put my group together to take the OJ spot when they tapered off. So, but it didn't happen that way. But God has a way of doing things, right?
It happened the way God wanted it to happen.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, God has a way of doing things, because when I was trying to make it in the business, I was like 30, 31, I was still trying. I was still trying. I was still trying to do it. And at that time when I was still trying to do it, Cammy, it was like the record labels were looking for um the young guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they was looking for six packs and tats and you know controversy and who's and I was and at 30 I was an old head in the game. I really at 30 and you know and back in the day at 30 you was just beginning.
Right.
In the 70s and 80s early 80s, you was just beginning like okay you might be seasoned now if you're 30 32, but then it switched up and everybody started getting all these young people giving them these 17 18 19-year olds these contracts and stuff, so I became an old man in the business. But what did God do? God went and took a 32-year-old, put him in an older group that was already a super group, and made me young again.
Yeah.
Made me the young guy. So that's what they always, and still to this day.
For you too. It's like the young guy.
Yeah, right. That's what it. That's if they don't know that name, they'll say the young guy or the new guy. 28 years later, they'll say the new guy. So I'll take it.
All right. I absolutely love it. So let's fast forward up to today's time now. So you have been working on different projects you mentioned, and one of them is a song. Tell us about that.
Oh well, Cammy, I just if you're talking about "Give Her Your Love," that's like my fifth single.
Really?
Yeah, I did "Reminds Me" first. Then I did "I Miss You." All of this was off the Mood Swing CD, and then I released "Cologne." Then I did "On My Way," "In My Life," and then had Walter. And then Walter and I did "Give Her Your Love," which "Give Her Your Love" was on the Mood Swing album. I just took it off and I shortened it sort of for radio, and I remixed it. I put a different sound on it, different punch to it because I'm starting my second EP is going to be Eric Nolan features.
Okay.
So on the features, I got Walt that I did with "Give Her Your Love." Glenn Jones is going to be on the second one. Kanye Doss, and then Will Downey. And I'm trying to do a record with Russell Thompson Jr. from the Stylistics,
Wow.
and
Hitters.
Lily Lyons from SWB.
Wow. That's going to be amazing.
I'm gonna
Oh
try.
my gosh. So we do have your song, Give Her Your Love. Is it okay for us to play it and show people what we're talking about?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Let's make it happen. I don't hear anything. T.
Me either.
T Nice, can you adjust the sound? He might have to start it over.
Might be on mute.
Oh, you know what, T? You need to probably unmute yourself.
The funny thing about that song, I only asked Walter to do that song with me one time, and he said, "Sure, I'll do it." And he came to the studio and did it.
Wow. So I like the different scenes. Um, T Nice, why don't you put yourself on screen small and see if that's what the problem is, since we're doing it through your system. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ T Nice is in the house.
T Nice.
I don't know why it wasn't playing.
That's okay. Can you start it over for me? I would like to see it from the beginning, if it's okay with you, Eric.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
My girl, man, it's like I take her to dinner, buy nice things. Hell, I'm even paying some bills. And I don't get it. We just keep bumping heads, man. It's like
Y'all look like two homeboys just hanging out.
no,
That's my man right there.
nowhere. I mean, why are we bumping heads like this? You know what now? Women are very tender, sometimes very fragile. I've seen the both of you in the good times in this relationship. I've seen her respond to you. I've seen you respond to her. Inside, deep inside of me, I think all you need to do is give her your love. Yeah, give her my love. Yeah. Don't know why we argue about the stupidest thing sometimes. She gets on my nerves, makes me wanna say things that she don't deserve. Oh, you may value what you say, best believe I can't relate. They can be a handful. Doesn't matter what you do, that won't make sense to you. Those are the times you sing on your pride and just give me your love, even when you don't feel like it. She's having a bad night, and I bet you that she'll give it back to you. So just when you don't know what happened, when you talk and she's snapping, that's when you got to. It's hard. Say that they're from Venus and that we're from Mars. Yes, we're opposites, but they need us just as much as we need them. Oh, man, ain't that the truth? I don't know what I would do if I didn't have my girl. So when she changes moods and she has an attitude, that is the time to be extra kind and just say, even when you don't feel like it, when she's having a bad night, and I bet you that she'll give it back to you so good. When you don't know what happened, when you're talking, she's
Pretty.
She could be so sweet today, tomorrow she won't look your way. Make it personal. It's just the way that it is. Give me your love, and I bet you that she'll give it back to you. So you don't know what happened. When you talk and she's laughing, that's when you got to leave her. Hey, baby, every single last drop, all of your love. Give her all your love.
Oh, I love it.
Thanks, T Nice.
Thank you, T. We appreciate it. All right. So who did the script for the skit here?
Me.
You did. That was
Yeah.
really good.
That's a friend of mine's, Nisi. niece say she was a model in Cleveland, and she used to always badger me. She was like, "You keep using all these other people to do your videos. You don't never call me to do your video." And so when she got married, I thought it would be a good take on what that song was about. You know what I mean? So she and she lives in Vegas now. So she shot that in Vegas and she sent it to me. And then James Ford, my partner, he
Mm-hmm.
cut it up, and put everything together. But far as inner workings and where I wanted to shoot it at and what I wanted to be about, I did all of that.
Oh, wow. Very
I did
talented.
all my videos. I did all the videos. If you ever pull
What?
up any Eric Nolan videos, I did all of them.
Wow. See, yeah. So I see why you have your film company. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So cool. So cool. So now what's next for you?
Um, I'm really in love with doing films.
Are
Like
you?
I like the same thing, the same way it hit me when I first started singing or being with the OJs and doing those concerts and those tours. I get the same feeling. Excuse me, doing film. I'm in love with radio. I love doing that radio because radio saved me when we were going through that whole pandemic thing. We was going through that whole COVID thing. They allowed me to be on the air,
Mm-hmm.
and that allowed me to have listeners and interwork with the with the audience or people, the listeners. So that kind of like kept the walls from caving in on me. You know what I mean? So
You have messages there, sir.
I got messages. I don't see no messages.
Uh,
I can't see nothing.
so Delvis said, "I am so proud of my brother Eric."
Oh, Delvis,
Talented.
listen, Delvis was instrumental, very instrumental in getting me that radio show. Because
Nice.
what happened? Because
Thank
what happened was we had a radio station in Cleveland called 107.3 The Wave, and they changed their format. Now 107.3, they would play a lot of the local artists that had pretty good music. They would play them on the air.
you.
So that's how Cleveland was getting our records. So when they changed the format over to country western or whatever, we had no station.
Right.
The other two stations are corporate owned. You know what I mean? So they had no we had no way of getting music out. So I called Delvis and I said, Delvis, what are we gonna do? We gotta find some kind of way to get local music on, independent artist music on the radio. What we gotta come up with something. So then at the time I was doing a radio show in Washington, DC on WHUR. And I don't know anything about that culture. I don't know anything about DC. A friend of mine's got me he thought it would be a good idea for me to have a radio show. So he pitched it to some
Mm-hmm.
people over there at whatever. And so I did that. I would play some go-go music. I would do all that stuff to try to fit in. But my heart was in Cleveland. So once that happened, I said, Delvis, because Delvis was on the radio he was doing a night show where he would play a lot of old school jams and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was getting ready to relinquish it. He was about to say, man, I'm done with this. He said, man, you should get this show. So I said, man, introduce me to your GM. When he introduced me to the GM said, I know who you are. I said,
No.
well, if I could just get a Monday, I said, I'm just asking for one day. And that's why I was going to start playing independent artists. When I did my show, he gave me a show from 3 to 6. By the time it was like 4:15, he asked me, could I do 2 more days?
Wow.
And I've been there going on 3 years now. And Delvis was instrumental in that because me and Delvis, I run a lot of ideas by Delvis because Delvis is a real level-headed guy. Like he doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
he don't have a fight in the race. His thing is he try to do things that make sense. Like him and I started a promotional company called VIP
Okay.
Entertainment, Vintage International Promotions, where we bring in concerts.
Mm-hmm.
And so we brought in a concert in Cleveland, and him and I, we just hit it off. He's always been there for me. And when we came up with that, I said, you know what? Why wait for somebody else to do what we want done?
Right.
We just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And I've been there 3 years, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's a stress relief for me to just sit up there and play music and figure out how to get people's new music in. Now I'm starting getting flooded with independent artists, and they want to be heard in Cleveland because they can't get heard on the other stations because the other stations are corporate. And you
Right.
know how that goes. You know, they have to play with that teleprompter, say play.
Yeah. Well,
You
so
know,
you got a message here from Virgil Kane. He said, "Love Delvis and wants to visit Graceland one day, brother. Merry Christmas."
Merry Christmas.
And I also want to say thank you, Robin, for tuning in. I saw that name come across. So they're keeping us busy. So Robin Roundtree, old school in the house, hand waving. So Virgil again says, "Hey from Manchester, England."
That's cool. That's cool.
So thank you
I,
guys for tuning in.
I really I love music so much. I love all facets of it. And the same way with James Ford. When I came up with this idea to do movies, I said, James, we shooting all these videos and we got all this equipment. I think we could do movies. And James said, you think so? Yeah, I really do. So I said, how much you think it would cost to shoot a movie? He told me. Me and him went half on the, we went half on the baby. You know what I mean? So we shot our first movie, and it we got like 400,000 streams so far.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, actually, the trailer is really hot. And so, yeah, and then you're on a channel that's pretty popular,
hmm
and so yeah, you guys are going to do very well.
I hope so. I
Prediction,
hope so.
my prediction. So, words of wisdom. So, if you could give someone who's trying to be where you are today, what type of words of wisdom would you give them?
What I would tell them is hone your craft. Like know about what you're doing. Like even like right now, I'm still in school when it comes to doing the movies things. So James will call me sometimes and he'll tell me, watch this movie or watch that movie. See if you can pick out the holes in this movie or what they didn't do in this movie and what they didn't capitalize in this movie. So I'm always doing homework
Mm.
when it comes to the movie thing.
Yeah.
And Cammie, what I would say is hone your craft. Whatever you want to do, know this. Please, I can't stress this enough. Know this. You did not invent this. Somebody did this before you,
Mm-hmm.
and they did it great. So go back in the history books and learn about whatever it is. If you want to do jazz, you need to learn about the Loneliest Monk and Dizzy Gillespie and all. You need to go and research that. Don't just stick with the Marcellus. Don't just stick with Kitty G. Don't just stick Gerald Albright. There was something happening before that.
Right. Right.
Yesterday I just watched for the very first time. Actually, I watched bits and pieces, but for the very first time, I watched Imitation of Life.
Oh my goodness, that was a good one.
But I watched the 1939 version.
That's what I'm saying. That was a good one. Yeah.
So I went back and I watched that. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to learn everything about movies and radio. I'm in school daily. Hone your craft, whatever it is that you want to do. Know that you didn't invent it. So go back and research it. That's what I feel like you should do.
Yeah.
Because that knowledge is king. You can get so much, because a lot of times people they go steadfast and they get there and they don't have no longevity, and they don't have the staying power. That's because you don't have no substance behind you.
Right.
Me, I played the Chitlin circuit. I know what it is to play the Chitlin circuit. I know what it is to have 10 pennies and be on the sidewalk and get a dime, and we would shave the penny all the way down to the size of a dime to put them in the vending machine so we could eat. You gotta know that stuff. They don't have Chitlin circuits no more. you know, but because everybody's a star,
Right.
some kind of way, internet will make you a star. But in here, you're not a star in here.
Yeah.
You're a regular old Joe because you don't have the knowledge. Go get the knowledge.
Right.
It's there for you for free,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's sitting there for you for free.
Go to YouTube. If you don't know how to do it, go to YouTube. You'll find it.
That's right. I mean, it's there for free. That's my baby girl right
That's your
there.
baby girl. Hi, Nikki.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um. Um. So you have to be able to know where it came from. You
Yeah.
know, that's what I would tell any young person that's trying to do this. Whatever you're trying to do, know that you didn't invent it. So go back as far as you can go back, as far as you think you were interested in it. You can go back to the 50s. I mean, the OJs didn't start this.
Right.
You know, before us, it was the drifters, ink spots, the coasters.
Archibald Trails.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, even the Dales, you know, it was people with Lil Anthony and the Imperials. They were all before the Jays.
Yeah.
And that's who the Jays used to follow around. Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers and all of them. I know about those groups because when I wanted to do it, I went back and I researched those acts.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Well, we're going to end our show today because we have
Wow.
part 2 coming up. So, the real finale of my season finale, guys, if you're here, join us back on the same YouTube or the same Facebook, and we're going to bring in who's your partner?
James Ford.
We're going to bring in Mr. Ford. All right. So, okay, guys, we'll see you on the flip side. And I guess in about 15 minutes, I'll see you again, Eric.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Until then, guys, SKST Radio, we want to see you for season 4. And don't forget to tune in for our next part 2.